So
I guess since you brought up a couple pieces of current event, I didn't have anything like so somber, but I'll let you know a little bit of something that I saw, which just kind of surprised me. It wasn't necessarily something sad, or maybe you think it's sad. I don't know. I'll tell you, get your opinion. I don't know if you saw the article or whatever, but I heard that essentially someone is suing Capcom over the use of certain properties in Resident Evil 4 without permission or something like that.
The evidence is looking pretty darn close. Like I mean, most people make claims on one or two of things, but they have actively found multiple occasions across the franchise, not just one specific game, but across the franchise of art.
Oh,
like I said, I think it's like Devil May Cry 4 and 5, and then Resident Evil 7 and 8.
Yeah.
So it's not just like one game or one specific piece of art, like what happened with Uncharted. It's multiple. Can
you give me a little bit of background that's what's going on to that? Because I just saw a couple of examples where like the Resident Evil 4 logo was specifically like a pile of glass that was scratched or something, and then there was a part where the Resident Evil 4 castle, some of the textures on the wall were from like a wall or something that the person was complaining about. But who is this person? Where are these things coming from? So like I don't get it.
I don't know much on the story, but I kind of skimmed through an article, so I'll explain it as best as I can. I'm not going to take a direction or opinion on the situation because obviously I still haven't read the full story. But essentially what happened is there's this photographer artist, kind of like your cousin Omar is doing, where he's taking art and stuff. And a long time ago, like around the 1996 or something, or like somewhere in the 1990s, they created a copyright license for like a book that they have filled with all kinds of art, with specific shots of broken glass, with like it's very specific the way the glass is broken because they shattered it a certain way for the imagery. The art has been painted in certain ways that are very distinct. Sorry, and then the last comment, like for example in Resident Evil 8 or Resident Evil Village, like the whole castle thing. There's a lot of designs based off of that book, which is based off a real life European castle that the person took. Where in, if you were to go and make a tour, you can't take pictures inside, or supposedly you can't even go inside. Like she was given a private opportunity to go inside and take these pictures. So it's very weird and very distinct, problematic, but it's very distinct that in the game they have very, very similar art to what's shown. Like it's almost exactly the same, and it's not just one case or one piece of art or whatever. It's multiple cases across their franchises.
Yikes.
And that's concerning for Capcom. I mean, they might have to settle or agree to pay the licenses or whatever. And granted, I'm sure this is going to change the way they direct their art in the future. I mean, that's just going to happen. I don't know much. I was hearing a lot
of opinions that the evidence seems pretty substantial. I saw a couple of the images. Substantial. I was just like, yo, that does look pretty identical.
It's very substantial. There's a clear case to be made that something was taken for sure.
Yeah. I was looking at some of the opinions that people were having on this particular issue, and a lot of people says that the evidence is looking pretty strong in favor of like the photographer who's making the claims against them. Now, the only thing that weirds me out is why they waited so long to make the claim, because like Resident Evil 4 is like such an antiquated game. But I was hearing some people make the opinion that the photographer might not be a gamer or never even played any of the Resident Evil games. The way that
she said it is that the only way she realized that this happened was because Capcom got leaked, or they got hacked or whatever, and they leaked all this information out as to assets and stuff, and it became something of, like, it just piqued her interest at one point, and it came across her.
So the hacker
leaked a bunch of stuff public information.
Yeah, but did the hacker straight up like say like, oh look, no, these assets are stolen or something?
No. They just showed the art files of it, and then the art files. Okay, you remember that when we did the Genshin Impact episode?
Yeah.
And then like there was like a video that you could see where like you could see the person like actively pointing at how they drew inspiration from indigenous cultures and all that.
Yeah.
Same thing like that. There was like a file that basically showed the comparison between like the in-game engine rendering and the original file. And the original file is what caught her eye because it literally almost looked like it came out of the book.
Oh, mamma mia,
yeah. So
that's some pretty big trouble.
Pretty much. Whatever the case may be, we gotta see. We gotta wait. Like I said, I gotta read more into the topic before I can give a more concrete opinion. On my end, personally, I mean, I'm of the fact that if they should be found guilty right now because of what it seems like is that there's substantial evidence.
You said fact.
Huh?
You said you're of the fact. I think you meant to say.
No, I'm of the opinion that they should be at the moment because of that. But I'm gonna read in more before I wholeheartedly jump into that opinion, because obviously you never know.
Yeah, there could be some other factors at play that we're just ignorant of.
I know that a lot of times, like game developers, they grab real life objects and try to design them as best as they can into the game. I know like there was like in Instagram, the whole Call of Duty rug that was like, oh look, this is a rug I have in real life in my house, and there's that's bound to happen, but we gotta wait and see. So
yeah, I kind of want to be updated in the events of that trial, because you know me, I'm like a big law guy, so I like hearing where cases go, so because those things tend to establish like precedent for how things should be handled in case like other people do similar things. So I'm kind of curious as to how that's gonna go, but that's pretty crazy. Like that's just insane. Like I hope that there aren't like a bunch of game devs out there that really just, you know, try to like get other people's work, or you know, get inspired by other people's work and then not give them credit or ask for permission and then put it in the game, because then that just sounds like a bunch of lawsuits waiting to happen if that's a common practice. I don't know.
Of course,
I know that there's been cases like that obviously in other things, like, you know, if someone's a Twitch streamer, maybe sometimes people rip someone else's art for emotes and stuff like that. So, you know, don't steal art, guys. Remember that those things have like, you know, laws that protect the creator of all that. So if you're ever
just pay people for their stuff, man. If you're gonna use some of this stuff, just pay for their stuff.
You know, everyone has a right to earn a living in any industry, even in photography and art. So
now, as a creator, I understand the pain of creating content and getting around getting shut down because you're using music or whatever from other people and all that.
Mm-hmm.
For developers, all I gotta say is just try your best to keep original, guys. You're creating the art. You shouldn't mimic real life. You're the artist. You're creating new art.
Well, like real life inspires art all the time. The problem is when it's something that's
but I'm saying don't just grab real life, recreate it, change it in your image for art. You're an artist. You're creating the game. Don't use real life music. Don't.
Oh well, no.
Don't use real life music. Don't use real life art.
It depends. It really depends on your artistic vision. Like I think there's nothing wrong with straight up grabbing things that are in real life. The problem comes when you screw someone over, like when you're you know, doing something that's underhanded, that you're maybe indirectly or directly harming someone. That's where it gets wrong. But like, let's say just a theoretical, I'm gonna throw out real quick, where like, you know, if I want to make a horror game and I want to do something quote unquote deep, where like, let's say I want the setting to look like my childhood home or whatever, because I don't know, trauma or some crap like that. And me as a game dev, I say, well, it has to look exactly like my house because that's the vision I have. You know, that has its own artistic spin on it. That is an excuse to straight up grab the actual thing.
I understand where you're coming from. I'm just saying, like, when you start using direct real life, like impressionable things, like not just common things, like a cup is common, and I don't care what cup you use to design for that, right? Whether you go to IKEA or whatever. But when you use direct things that are impressionable, like art, movie, music, and all that stuff from real life, I am of the mind, and I agree with people that to an extent takes away immersion, because you're starting to realize, okay, I'm not in this world. I'm just using a version of my reality that shares the same thing, right? Like, imagine I'm playing Silent Hill. I'm supposed to be getting immersed in this, and then all of a sudden, Heroes of the Time. I forget the name of the song. The chick or whatever that I love the song. You know which one I'm talking. I can't sing it because the MCA, but I'm holding out for Hero, right? Imagine that song comes up randomly on Silent Hill. I'm gonna be like, I'm not in Silent Hill anymore. I'm just listening to music and it's impeding my immersion.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
That's all I'm trying to say about that. All right, so
hey there, guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Co-op Syndicate. Make sure to check out both the Co-op Syndicate main channel and clip channel to get all of our content. If you haven't already, please consider liking, subscribing, and ringing the bell as well so that you never miss out on any future episodes. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider sharing it with your friends and family, or you could also share it on any social media website of your liking. If you guys would prefer to listen to our podcast on the go instead of viewing the full episode on YouTube, consider checking the Co-op Syndicate podcast out at TheCo-OpSyndicate.buzzsprout.com. We host the Co-op Syndicate on Buzzsprout, and it is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or anywhere where you listen to your podcasts. If you'd like to watch us as we record the podcast live, you could actually give us a follow at twitch.tv/Co-op Syndicate. We go live every Thursday and Saturday at 4:30 p.m. If you'd like to support the channel, you could consider subscribing to us with Amazon Prime for free over there. If you'd like to participate in community events and talk to other members of the community, consider joining our Discord, which I will leave the links to in the description down below. If you would like to support the podcast and get rewarded in return, consider pledging to our podcast at patreon.com/Co-OpSyndicate, where you can support us at many different levels. There are multiple tiers that offer all sorts of different rewards for the level that you choose to support us at, including Discord privileges, merch, gift cards, and much more. Also, if you would just like the merch directly without pledging to the Patreon, you could buy our merch at merch.streamelements.com/Co-OpSyndicate. Lastly, if you'd like to keep up with Jordan or I outside of the Co-op Syndicate, you could find us on every social media platform under Michael C. Moore for myself or JG_Mark1 for Jordan. Thank you guys again, and until next time, happy listening.